What you guys got another video. Stop what you're doing and try and delete or uninstall Microsoft Edge or the Bing app on your computer. You can't. And that's because Microsoft don't want you uninstalling their applications. They want to harvest and collect telemetry on your PC. At the end of the day, you're just a guest on your own PC. Microsoft actually own the operating system and actually control everything you do. So between mandatory updates that break your setup, telemetry that tracks everything you do on your PC, the era of owning your computer is officially over, unless you know how to take it back. And I'm going to show you how to do that today. So remember, you don't own your PC unless you do this, what I show you. Because today I'm going to be showing you specific steps to strip away the corporate bloat and kill the tracking on Windows 11. Setting up a local account is the first step by using the domain join feature in Windows 11 Pro. Once you've got that out the way, it's time to set up group policies for Windows 11. As long as you've got Windows 11 Pro or above, you can set policies inside the group policy editor to turn off all those annoying telemetry and data harvesting features in Windows 11. I'll leave files for this on the Discord server. Next, once you've done all of that, you can restart your PC. If you want to see a full in-depth video on this, I've already made those on my channel. I also have files that you can just use to put into the group policies folder to set all your policies. I've shown you how to do this before, and they're on the Discord server for you to download and use if you want to use them to save time. So it takes literally seconds to do, and this is them right here. I'll talk about that a little bit more later on in the video. No dangerous scripts, no applications needed. Use the built-in tools inside Windows, and this makes it super easy to be able to turn off features like searching index and all this annoying advertisements. You don't need to use third-party apps or scripts to be able to take back control of your system, and it's completely reversible, where a lot of the scripts and apps are not. This is the safest way to deal with Windows 11. So next, once you've done all of this, if you go in, you'll see some of these settings are managed by your organization. These are fully turned off. You'll probably see a lot of scripts don't even do that, and it allows them to be turned back on again. These are officially turned off and they will not be re-enabled on a Windows update. Next, it's time to deal with those pre-installed applications that Microsoft like to pre-install on your PC. There's an absolute ton of these, so just uninstall all of the applications that you don't need. I'm going to be removing a majority of this stuff because I don't need it, but you can uninstall what you don't need on your PC. That is the beauty of doing it yourself. You have more control, whereas when you use applications and scripts, it will do all this for you, and it might uninstall features that you actually want to keep. Now, it's not going to uninstall everything, because there are some apps that just refuse to uninstall, but I'll show you how to deal with this a little bit later on in the video. Next, what we're going to do here, once we've removed all of the applications, before we restart the PC, I'm going to configure some settings that I want to change. Now, everyone is different, so you can go through and turn some of these on if you want. End task is a really good one to have. Enable long paths is good. I make sure remote desktop is turned off because I've uninstalled that app as well because I don't need it. And there's a bunch of other stuff that you can tweak and turn on to your liking, like enabling the sudo right here. So I'm going to enable that feature. Now, there's quite a few other things that you can do, but I've already done a lot of this stuff in group policy, like power plans and things like that. So depending on what you want to do on your PC, you can go through and configure it. Now, what I would suggest is going into your task manager and taskbar settings and configuring this the way you like as well. You can already see a lot of the widgets and task view are already being turned off. The search icon is just left to search icon only, and that's the way I like it, but you can set that in group policy to the way you like. Just go in there and change it to what you want. But on the left-hand side right here, you can do this in group policy as well, but I'm going to do it right here. There's just a couple of little things I like to change to suit my needs. Now, if you like smaller icons, you can do that. Show smaller taskbar buttons and it will make them a lot smaller. Some people like them really small. I like them just the way they are, so I'm going to put that back. But you can change all of this in group policy as well, so you don't have to mess with this if you want to add to the group policy settings that I've got on the Discord server. And the reason for this is because I leave some of this stuff for basic customization that people like to set up themselves. It's not a big deal. There's not a lot to tweak. All the rest of it has been dealt with already. Another one inside here, which is quite useful in the settings panel, is always on top. This means that the task manager will always be on top. So if you're playing a game and it freezes, you can push Control-Alt-Delete and the task manager will be on top of the game rather than behind it, which makes it easier to close that process. So next we're going to deal with some other settings inside here. Inside this PC, again, there's a couple of little things I like to change in here. Again, you can change all of this stuff in the group policy editor if you want to and have it set the way you want, like this PC. You can have that set in group policy editor. All of these right here, these can all be dealt with inside there as well, depending on how you want to set yours up. I still like to do some things myself. That way, when I'm setting up a PC for a client or something like that, I can set it up to their needs. These are what I call just your basic settings, which I like to do myself. I'm not going to bore you with every personalized setting because I'm pretty sure you've seen them a million times before. So inside your settings panel, inside Windows Updates, make sure you got all the latest updates if it's a clean, fresh install, because that's important because Microsoft has stopped pushing these updates during the installation period. So you want to make sure you got all the latest updates. Receive updates from other Microsoft products. Some people like to turn that on. I leave it off. And again, I like to notify me when restarts is required to finish updating. I want to turn that on because I do not want Microsoft restarting the PC on its own. And I like to set this to manually and set a time here that I like to use updates when I'm not using the computer. This is another one I like to turn off. Allow downloads from other devices. This means it's going to use updates on other computers on your network and basically use those rather than you downloading them. I prefer just to turn that off myself. Next, you can set your themes and color, whatever you like here, but you can see a lot of this stuff has already been disabled. Everything in here that is to do with telemetry or stuff that I don't use or people don't use, I turn off. So again, you can turn all this stuff off as well in Group Policy Editor, but some of this stuff I like to leave to do myself. I'm not going to bother customizing the start menu here because I'll be replacing that with another option like Start 11 or Start All Back or something like that, just to show you that a modern day start menu like that is essential, I think. That's the only tool that I'm going to be downloading to change the start menu, because I don't like the new start menu. It's massive and I don't like it. So once you've got all your settings right here, you'll see a lot of these have all been turned off. I would go to Windows Defender and I've already turned on all of the security features inside here. Now, some people like to disable a lot of this stuff. I wouldn't advise doing that because this keeps you safe, but I'm not going to go through this video. If you want to see a full in-depth video on how to customize Windows security, I've done it before. Quite a while ago, but if you want to see an updated video, let me know in the comment section. But that has been taken care of. Now we're going to deal with this start menu. It's already been reduced back to this because I've did it inside group policy, but I'm going to be using the start all back for this one because it means I don't have to register straight away and I can show you. But I would normally go for start 11 in this case, but we're going to be using this because I can just show you straight away with a trial version. So it looks something like this, and you can use proper 11, proper 10, or remastered 7, or something like that. But I'm going to go right here and just use proper 11, and it should look something like that. But there's other options in here, and you can fully customize it. I'm not going to customize it in this video because I've made videos showing you how to do that already. I'm not sure if I've done it with Start All Back. If you want to see a video on that, let me know in the comment section down below. But I have done Start 11. So let's take a look at the start menu now. A lot more manageable, a lot more nicer to use, in my personal opinion. So someone needs to hire one of those people at Microsoft to take care of their start menu because it really does suck. Next, we're going to take care of Microsoft Bing here and Microsoft Edge. Now, you can't officially uninstall these applications unless you're in the EU, and it does give you an option to uninstall them. Now, there is scripts and other stuff that you can use to do this as well, but I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible for you. So I'm going to open up the PowerShell window here and put in a command like this, and it will remove that package from the computer. Now, before I remove Microsoft Edge, I need to download another browser, otherwise we'll be left with no browser on the computer. So you can use whatever browser you like. I'm going to go ahead and use Google Chrome because that's what I'm tied to with YouTube. So I use Google Chrome all the time, and I've been using it for many years, and it's probably one of the best browsers that you can use. That's why a lot of other browsers use their code to create their browser. So I'll get this installed on the system, and once this is installed, I can go ahead and I'll remove Microsoft Edge. Now, you can choose to leave Microsoft Edge on your system. I'm not removing the web view on Microsoft Edge. I'm leaving that on the system because that can break things, but I'm just going to uninstall Microsoft Edge, and I'll use a batch file to do that. And I think that is also on the Discord server. So I'm just going to quickly set the Google Chrome here as default here. So you can see there's just a bunch of these that you can change here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right here. And now that is all taken care of, we can now go ahead and I'll remove Microsoft Edge. You've seen me uninstall Edge before, so I'm not going to bother going into great detail about that because it is pretty straightforward. There's also scripts online if you want to choose to use those as well. But it's pretty self-explanatory. And there you go, it's gone. I'm just going to quickly pin some items on my start menu here and pin it to the taskbar and get this all buttoned up. So I just need to remove this little icon here, remove from list, and now you can add in whatever you like on your menu. So basically navigate to here and just pin this to your start menu, and you can do that to whatever applications you like to have it fully on the front of the start menu if you like to have them there. So let's take a look at the task scheduler for the next one. What we're going to do is go inside here and we're going to disable some of the unwanted ones inside here. Now, again, be careful what you're disabling inside here because you can also make a mess of your system. So if you want to see a full in-depth tutorial on some of these, then let me know in the comments section down below. But basically, we're going to go into the Microsoft and then Windows section right here and take care of the telemetry ones and the stuff that I don't need on the system. I'm just going to disable them, and you even have the opportunity to delete them if you want to. So you can see right here there's a full list of what you can go through here. So application experience, so these are going to be going back and sending information back to Microsoft. So I'm just going to right click and disable a lot of this stuff because I don't need the application experience running on the system. So I'm just going to go ahead and disable these. And there's a long list of them. Some of them might not be able to, like this one here, but you can delete it by right-clicking and deleting if you wish. That's entirely up to you. If you use a batch file, it will be able to disable that one there, but we're trying to do this manually. So what I'll do in this video is I'll right-click on it and I will delete it just for this video. But normally I would use a batch file to do all of this, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it manually just to show you a few. So you just choose a folder right here or directory, and you can go in here and choose which ones you want to disable. So you can do a search on Google if you want to on a list of these tasks to disable if you want to. Be careful on which ones you do disable because some of them are needed for Windows and you can cause yourself a problem. So don't go deleting stuff willy-nilly on the system. This one right here, proxy, we don't need this one right here. So I'm going to disable this. And there's a few others inside here. You can see BitLocker, Bluetooth, and you'll get more obvious ones like Customer Experience Improvement Program. Everything in that directory will be to do with telemetry. So obviously right click on it and disable like so. It's that simple. So once you've done that, that will deal with that side of things. Next, There's a bunch of other stuff down there you can go through. There's quite a long list of them, like feedback and a bunch of other things that you might want to disable. File history. Some people don't like using any of that stuff. You just go through and have a little look and see what's there. Things like defrag, because it's named defrag doesn't necessarily mean it's defragging your SSD, and people will disable it like I've just done right here. And that's up to you whether you want to do it, but it's not going to put wear and tear on your SSD or NVMe drive because it's not defragging it. It's using the trim command, which is completely different to defragging. Now, I've made a video on that many moons ago, but you can go back and check some of that out if you want to. Just do a search for it inside my channel and you'll see. But I'll leave that one there, but there's quite a few others you can disable as well. Next, one last thing, I do have a batch file here to take care of telemetry and privacy, so I'll just tweak those right here. Now, you can do a lot of these entries one at a time, but there's quite a few, and some of these we've already touched on in this video. I'm just going to run this and restart the PC. And the reason why I do that is because there's a lot of other settings which will take a lot of time to do, whereas a batch file can take care of this very, very quickly. Batch files and group policy editor files are all on the Discord server, which means you can just drop them into your operating system and you'll be up and running in literally 10 minutes. You'll be done and you won't have to mess around with any third-party applications, any other scripts or anything like that. It's all done for you. You can do this all manually like I showed you here. It's very simple and easy to do, but these are group policy files that you can use. Just drop them into your system. No more going into an application and running sketchy scripts online which could break your system. All of this stuff is reversible, which means you should be up and running in no time at all. Change your wallpaper and you should have a nice clean system without any telemetry and no privacy concerns. My name has been Brian from briteccomputers.co.uk. Big shout out to my YouTube members. I appreciate the support. If you haven't joined the Discord server, all the files are over there. Bye for now.